Hey, in this video, we are going to be walking through our Math 1 notebook. Solving multi-step equations is what we are doing today. Please make sure that your table of contents is looking like mine with solving multi-step equations written as number 4 with today's date. We are then going to turn to page number 4 and begin solving our multi-step equation examples. So it's very similar to two-step equations like we did in the previous days, but today we are taking it one step further. Before we do so, we need to make sure that we work on the distributive property. So in just a moment, I'm going to give you two different ways to solve this, and then you get to pick your comfort level. Okay, so the one that is most popular and is used by most teachers is using the distributive property by distributing or giving the number on the outside to each one of the numbers on the inside of the parentheses. Again, that's called distribute, just like if you were to distribute candy to your friends. You don't want anybody to feel left out, so you need to distribute to each one of your friends. Same concept here. We need to distribute the 3 to each one, or each number, or each constant, coefficient, each term inside of our parentheses. So first, we're going to distribute the 3 to the x, and the operation that does this is multiplication. So that becomes 3 times x, and we're just going to write that as 3x. And then the other one is 3 times 1, and then that is a positive 3, and then is equal to 12. Okay, so now that my distributive property is taken care of, it works just like any other two-step equation. We need to find the operation first. We have to undo addition or subtraction. Second, we undo multiplication or division. So the operation that I see here is addition. So to undo that operation, we need to subtract 3 on each side. This creates a zero pair, positive 3 and negative 3, or 3 minus 3 cancels. And so we are left with 3x. 12 minus 3 is 9. And we're not finished yet because we still have a coefficient in front of our x. So that operation is multiplication. So to undo that, we're going to divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So now I am left with x is equal to 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay. Now, if you're unsure if you're right, correct, I don't know if what I'm doing, or maybe I just solved it and it doesn't look right to me, we can always go back in and substitute. So we can do 3 times, we're going to substitute our 3 back in, which is what I got for x. I'm replacing it with x. And see if it is equal to 12. 3 plus 1 is 4. And 3 times 4 does equal 12. So I got that answer correct. Okay, now bear with me. I'm going to show you a new method whenever you see a distributive property problem. Okay, so number 1 is written just like it is. So again, I'm not going to go into number 2 just yet. I'm going to redo number 1 with the new method. Okay. I don't want it to confuse you. Okay, so number 1 was 3 times x plus 1 is equal to 12. Okay, again, you get to choose the method that best fits you and that you understand better. Okay, so I'm going to slide this down very quickly. The operation that we used whenever we distributed the 3 through our parentheses was multiplication. So if we are thinking about equations and we're undoing our operations, I knew that this operation, whenever I took it through the parentheses, was going to be multiplying. So because I know that, I can just go ahead and start off by dividing that 3 out. And what you do to one side, you must do to the other. 3 divided by 3 is 1 whole. So then we are left with x plus 1, what was inside the parentheses. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, now we have a one-step problem. And the opposite of adding 1 is subtracting 1. And this creates a zero pair, so we're left with x is equal to 3, which is the exact same answer that I got the first time. So here are them side by side. And again, you get to choose the method that best works for you. So if you are okay with distributing, getting to a 2-step down to a 1-step, then feel free to use that method. If you are liking this method better, go ahead and start just dividing the number first that you need to distribute through, which brings you down to a one-step problem. Again, you are able to choose the option that best suits you and best works for you. Okay, moving on to number 2, example number 2. I'm going to stick with the distributing method mode. And we are going to distribute the 2 into each one of the terms inside my parentheses. It becomes 2x. Be very careful. This right here is listed as a negative 2 because of that subtraction sign. So 2 times negative 2 becomes negative 4 equals 18. Okay, now we have a two-step problem. The opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4, or the inverse of that if I'm using the correct math terms. This creates a zero pair. Negative 4, positive 4 is 0. So then I am left with 2x. 18 plus 4 is 22. And then I need to divide by 2 on both sides because that is the opposite of multiplication. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm left with x is equal to 11 as my answer. Again, you can always check your work by plugging in 11 inside of parentheses. You try using a darker marker this time. So this time we had 2 times. We're saying that x is equal to 11. So again, I'm just where the x was, I'm putting in the number 11. Okay, minus 2 is equal to 18. 11 minus 2 is 9, and 2 times 9 is 18. So I got that problem correct as well. Okay, again, this is going to be the last time. No, I'll do the other method for number 3. Okay, number 3, we're going to stick with the distributive property again, and we are going to distribute the 3 inside my parentheses. So each term on the inside, just like candy, don't leave a friend out. Whenever you distribute anything to your friends, don't leave the negative 1 out. Don't have him be upset. Okay, so anyways, enough of that. We're going to take 3 times 2, which gives us 6x. Okay, and we're going to do 3 times. Be very careful. That subtraction sign has me calling this a negative 1. So 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then it's equal to 9. Now I'm at a two-step problem where I need to start doing the inverse operations, okay, or the opposite operations if you're more comfortable with that word. Opposite of negative 3 or subtract 3 is positive 3 on both sides. This now creates a zero pair. Negative 3, positive 3 cancels, or 0, and I am left with 6x. 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay, this operation is multiplication, so the opposite of that is division. We're going to divide by 6 on both sides. 6 divided by 6 is 1, which gives me 1x, and then 8th grade math 1, we don't put the 1 in front of the x, we just leave it as x. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. Don't forget, you can always go back in and check your work. So I'm replacing this 2 with that x. Okay. So when I check my work this time, again, I found the x, put 2 where the x was, good to go. This time I have 2 times 2, which is 4, minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3, and 3 times 3 does equal 9, and I got that problem right. Okay, y'all ready for method number 2, if you're okay with this method? Okay, so number 3's problem was 3 times 2x minus 1 is equal to 9. Okay, so first step, whenever I did the distributive property, the operation that I used was multiplication. So if we're thinking about undoing our operations, the opposite or inverse of multiplying by 3 would be dividing by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1 whole. So now I am only left with 2x minus 1. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now I'm here at a two-step problem, and the opposite of adding 1 is, or subtracting 1 is adding 1. So now I am left with just a 2x on this side because that created a zero pair. And 3 plus 1 is 4. Last and final step, this is multiplying by 2. So inverse or opposite of that is dividing by 2. 2 divided by 2 cancels, so you are left with x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And let's compare this side by side to see if I got the same answer. And I did. Again, choose the method that works best for you. You can use the distributive property, or we can also divide what is in front of our parentheses first. Again, you choose the method that is best working for you and your understanding. Okay, last example that goes in our notebook today. I'm going to continue with the distributive property method. So we are going to multiply 4 through my parentheses. 4 times 2x is 8x. Positive sign makes this a positive 1. 4 times a positive 1 is 4. And equals 68. Okay, the next step is finding our addition or subtraction. So I see plus 4. And the opposite of that is subtracting 4 on each side. 0 pairs, positive 4, negative 4. So then I'm left with 8x is equal to 68. Oof, minus 4 is 64. Almost gave the answer away there. And then the last and final step is this is multiplication. And so the opposite of that is dividing by 8. That creates 1x, and in 8th grade math 1, I just list x instead of 1x. And 64 divided by 8 is 8. Okay, last and final step is checking your work. So I'm going to take 4 times 2. Instead of x, I'm going to replace it with what I say x is equal to. And then I'm going to add 1. Okay, so working inside my parentheses, I have 4 times 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, now I have 4 times 16 plus 1 is 17, and let's make sure that that is going to equal 68. And 4 times 17 does equal 68, and so my answer was correct. Again, we are making sure that we are solving multi-step equations with the distributive property, or you can choose the method that best fits you. So I'm going to, again, lay these side by side so you can see number 1 compared to number, let's see if I can move this out of the way for you. So you can see number 1 compared to each other and number 3 compared to each other, and you are able to choose the method that is best working for you. Again, this goes on page number 4 of your notebook. And we're also making sure that our table of constants is staying complete and up to date. Okay, best of luck to you on your independent practice assignment today.